Hey everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the range. Yeah, I got a fun one. We're going to be comparing AR-10 platforms. We're going to take first a look at the Ruger SFAR. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the Aero Precision M5. We're going to be doing a little bit of comparison, a little bit of shooting. Let's get going. First up, we got the Ruger SFAR or Ruger SFAR, which is what I like to commonly call it. We'll take a look at what we have here. This Ruger is just a little bit different. I had some problems with it and had to put some replacement parts on it in order to get it running up to snuff. It does have an Aero Precision adjustable gas block. It does have a Midwest Industries 12.5, something like that, handguard on it. You can tell for my suppressor mount, I do have a different muzzle brake. That's a JMac Customs. And yeah, that's the Ruger SFAR. It does have an H2 buffer in it, I believe. And I like to run it on around setting 11 when it is running unsuppressed, on 9 when it is running suppressed. I have a Nikon 3-16 scope on here. Not that I'm recommending this, it's just one that I have available for it. I also have a little bit of a side mount. I have an Aero side mount, and I'm just running a SIG Romeo 5 on that red dot for the side. That is a little bit heavy for this gun. Ultimately, I think I really want to get a primary arms 1-8 PLXC on this is what I'm going for, I believe, just to keep this lightweight and simplify it. So up here in the competitor side, we have our Aero Precision 18-inch, and this Ruger SFAR is a 16-inch, but I have an 18-inch M5 that we're going to be comparing today. It just has sort of some of the normal Magpul furniture on it. I really haven't made any changes or had to make any repairs, rather, to this system. It runs pretty much out of the box the way that Aero Precision intended it to, and that's maybe a little bit of the comparison that we're going to talk about these two rifles, so that I think is important to see. I do have the Swamp Fox 1-10 scope on here, and you've seen that in many of my other videos. I have a couple of those, and so I kind of just change them out between rifles before I decide what type of scope or optic I'd like to put on it permanently. I am thinking that I would like something just a little bit more dedicated long range on this, and I'm thinking more like a 4.5 to 25, 4 to 26, something like that type scope that I would like to put on this rifle itself. In terms of operations, I have done over 1,000 rounds on this rifle. Probably done a couple hundred rounds on this rifle. Definitely have had my fair share of problems. This rifle has been sent back to Ruger and had its bolt carrier group replaced. This has not had to have anything sent back. I do have something curious happening with its adjustable gas block, in that it has to be basically run way open, which is one of my complaints about the Ruger. So, you know, nothing is perfect in this world. I will say too, I continue to just get tons and tons of comments on the Ruger SFAR about how I did one thing or another wrong. Like, you got to run it 300 rounds on setting 3 before you can even do anything to this rifle, because that's what it needs to break in. Well, I'm just going to call BS right there, because that is not what Ruger has said to me in any communications with customer support. And that is not also what is in their manual. In their manual, they said break-in typically, this is where they use the word typically occurs in 1 to 200 rounds. They say generally most factory ammo will be run on setting 2, and that's what they recommend when you start off with new ammo or the rifle is new. So there is FUD lore out there that says, hey, you got to run this on setting 3 for 300 rounds before you do anything on this. That's Trigger Bar's FUD voice. That's just kind of horse pucky. No such thing, nothing in the manual, nothing from others. I am getting a little irritated at people putting that in comments like they know what they're talking about when they don't know what they're talking about, especially when they put it on a comment in my video where clearly there is something going wrong with the rifle and they're now blaming it on me for not running it in right. Like, I don't even get that. There's no, at any rate, I'm beside myself a little bit on that today, and a little bit touchy subject for me. So let's get back to comparing these rifles and shooting them. What I'm going to do today is I have my lab radar out with me. I'm going to see what the difference is in velocities between 16-inch barrel and 18-inch barrel. We're going to shoot these guns, talk about how they feel, how they're different. Now look, there's been a lot of effort and work to get this thing set up, and I really do love how this SFAR feels, how it handles, but that's after a lot of work to get it that way. I haven't put as much effort into this rifle yet, but I'm on my way. Now that said, the main reason you would want the Ruger SFAR is this thing is lightweight. With this 12-inch handguard that came from Midwest Industries, it's even lighter than what it came from the factory. So pretty cool upgrade. I have a Magpul dust cover over here. And man, this thing, even with this behemoth scope, it's like a 50mm objective lens on this 3-15 scope. It's a little bit old. It's been hunting a few times. I've actually taken 2 elk with this rifle scope. But this thing is very, very lightweight. Even though it has this side or a socket mount and this SIG Romeo 5 and this big giant scope on it, it is still super lightweight. I can't wait to see how this thing feels when I get a Primary Arms PLX C1-8 LPVO on this rifle. That's going to be cool. And then you just kind of compare it. You just immediately, upon picking this up, you're like, holy crap, that thing is heavy. So I would say it's 2 pounds heavier, and I believe everything that I have been able to look up, this is sub 7. This is just under 9. If I can do math, it's about 2 pounds different. That may not feel like a lot, but at the end of your arm or on your hand, that feels like a lot different. And I'm sure a fair amount of that is in this thicker barrel. I did not get a pencil barrel profile. And I'm sure there's other things that you can do to lighten this up. But at the end of the day, the bolt carrier group is significantly smaller in the Ruger than it is in this. But I do think that may also lend to some reliability. So let's get to shooting. Enough talking, enough yapping, trigger bar. Let's take a look at shooting these 2 rifles, see how they feel, see what we can do out at the range. I am, again, out at a range. I am pointing the rifles in a safe direction. Beautiful fall colors at this range. This really is a beautiful range here in eastern Pennsylvania. Love coming out here at sunset. But yeah, so we will get these rifles out. We will follow all safety protocols. I am the only one on the firing line. This is a private range, and so I am following all safety rules. Going to keep the guns pointed down range, finger off the trigger until I want to do it. I know what's beyond this. There's a big hill beyond this. I'm not going to shoot over the hill. I'm going to keep the rifles pointed in the right direction, and we're going to make sure that we follow all of these rules out here. Let's get going. All right, well, I got the lab radar set up. Got some targets, just some gongs out at 115 yards. We're going to just shoot 5 rounds. I've got some AAC ammunition. It says it should be going 2850, but I doubt that's out of a 16-inch barrel, so I suspect we'll be getting lower than that. We're going to see if we can capture some of this on the lab radar, and we're going to see if we can get some hits. We'll say that a couple of things that's really important with the Midwest Industries handguard on here, that does, and the Aero Precision gas block, that does avoid what on the regular SFAR, oftentimes the gas block makes contact with the handguard and messes with its accuracy. So if you are having accuracy, that is another issue. That is something else that I would check on this rifle. Yeah, so I think we're all set up, and we'll try to get some lab radar readings. I may be too high with the lab radar. Let's just see. Let's get a shot going down range and see if that's right. 2569. It picked it up. So yeah, a bit lower. Really very minimal recoil. 2586. 2570. 2588, and notice also not tons of gas coming back at me. That also was fixed when I got the regular gas block or the Aero gas block on it, and got my gas bolt carrier group gas key fixed. Those were all contributing to problems that I was having. 2571. Okay, well, let's just take a quick look at that add up. We had an average of 25.77, high of 25.88, low of 25.69, extreme spread of 19, standard deviation 9.2, number of shots 5. Not bad. Again, 16-inch barrel, you expect to lose some velocity from the 2850 that they're claiming, and also oftentimes ammo boxes are a little, what does Paul Harrell use? That they're optimistic in their ammo quotes. That could be out of a 24-inch barrel, who knows? All right, so we have a new group set up on the lab radar, just telling the difference between these two rifles, the 16-inch, the 18-inch, how much of a difference difference does it make to have these different barrel lengths in the 308. And so, yeah, one other thing is that I will say the accuracy of these rifles, I would say, is pretty equal. On a given day with a given ammo, if you let your rifles cool down, I can get sub-MOA. I've shot that on both of the rifles. Can I get it every time? Can I pick, do I have a factory ammo that I can guarantee it's going to be sub-MOA? No. It just feels random. I think it's capable of it, but I haven't tuned a load. I haven't found a load that's of it. I have certainly shot sub-MOA, though, with both rifles. So for what it's worth, capable, is it random luck? Could definitely be, right? The old story about every now and then a blind squirrel finds a nut. Could be that every now and then these guys shoot a sub-MOA group. .2704, so we see a pretty good step up in velocity. A little over 100 feet per second in that. .2682. 2679. 2657. I would say shooting experience about the same. Feels very similar in recoil. 2659, maybe slightly less. This is a lighter rifle, maybe slightly less, but very similar. I said that one, 2659. And that's the last one that we have there. Okay, taking a look at the add up, the average is 2676, high of 2704, low of 2657, extreme spread of 47, standard deviation 19.3. So a little bit raising of it, but we see about 100 feet per second velocity pickup from the 16-inch barrel, so the 2 inches. And when asked, does 2 inches make a difference? Looks like it makes a difference. 100 feet per second. You know, I still wouldn't want to be hit with one of those where it's going 2670 or 2570. I don't want to be hit with either of those. All right, so today we finished off our review of the Aero Precision and the Ruger SFAR, Aero Precision M5 and the Ruger SFAR. And both are fine shooting guns now that we have them in spots that they can be. Which would Trigger Bar recommend? Well, I think based on all the problems that I had with the SFAR, definitely would recommend the M5. Really haven't had any problems, just shoots. Seems to work as it intended. There is definitely something weird with the gas block. I may have to talk with Aero about that, but nothing on par with what I experienced on the Ruger. But I don't have as many rounds through this yet, so we're still around that 200 mark, I think, on this, and have got to get a bit more time behind it and see how it performs over a little bit longer round count, because I'm definitely I think I said 1100 on the Ruger SFAR, but I'm really liking the way it's set up now. If I were to get the Ruger SFAR, there's some of you that are watching this because they just want to be convinced that you should go out and buy it, or they've just bought it and they're now finding this online. I would just be really careful with making sure that my gas block is not hitting my handguard. I'd make sure that all of my set screws are tightened on it, because there's numerous reports, and I've seen them where they are not. I would check my gas key for function to make sure it's not coming loose. Remember, the gas key on your bolt carrier group is only going to have one screw. On the Ruger SFAR, on all other AR platforms, or most other AR platforms, it's going to have 2 set screws to keep that gas key tightened down. So it's certainly something that I would be worried about and continue to watch. I would say that if you really want this and you're going to use it as a hunting rifle because it's lightweight, you'll probably be okay. for the 2 rounds that you shoot when you go out hunting, unless you're going hog hunting and you shoot 20 rounds, you're going to be fine on it. But the more and more round count you put on it, the more, and you want to depend on this as your SHTF gun or your home defense gun. This probably wouldn't be my choice as a home defense gun or SHTF gun. And if you really want the 308, I'd probably go this direction. I've heard great things of the PSA 10s and seen great reviews on those. Certainly, you check those out. And then certainly there's a lot of other great rifles. The SIG 716i, there's a number of other great rifles out there that are in 308. Certainly the SCAR. I was even the ZPAP Z92. Looks pretty awesome if you like the AK variant. So those are all the things that I would do. Again, yep, boat carrier, or sorry, the windows are open. These guns are free. There is nothing in them, no ammunition in them. Yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Hope that you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. What AR-10 platform is the one that you choose? Is this helpful? Is there other comparisons on these two rifles that you want to see? More ammo, more shooting of the lab radar and getting velocities for it? Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.